So everyone, welcome to Super Jam Podcast. My name is David. I'm really excited to introduce to you our guest, Councillor Keith Mitchell. He was the Mayor of Swanley in the previous council term, and that's when our new base was being built, and we're super grateful for all his support and help, and also cutting the ribbon at our launch party as well. So Keith, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, David. The weather's not as good as we'd like it, but there we go.
Yeah,
it still makes you shine. There is some sunshine out there.
Yeah, it's been on and off, hasn't it? And I'll introduce our listeners to Aidan as well, who's helping out in the background. How are you today, Aidan?
I'm good. I am good, yeah. It's nice to be here today.
Yes, I know. We had another podcast incident where this room had a bit of a leak, so...
Right there.
Yeah. I'm glad it wasn't right above the actual mixing desk. It was a close call. Aidan's been helping out loads on podcasts throughout his career at Super Jam, so thanks so much for that, Aidan. We've actually got another one we're prepping for soon, but anyway, let's focus on this one. And Aidan, I thought you were maybe opening up with a question that might get us some backstory from Keith.
Oh, yeah. So, Keith, my question is, what made you get into local politics?
That's a very good question, Aidan. Let me give you some idea. It's not something that I ever envisaged doing when I was younger, or even older for that matter. I was asked if I would like to be a councillor by one of the councillors, and they came to me and said, "We thought that you would be good to be a councillor." Because at the time, and I still am the chairman of our local bowls club, they said, "You know a lot of people, you talk to a lot of people, we think that would be a good idea." So I had to think about it. Yeah, let's go for it. I had to obviously put my name forward for election. The elections came up, and here I am. That's it.
Amazing. So I guess doing a bit of work in the community anyway, the bowls club, that kind of, you must have that sort of community spirit in you anyway. That is, would you say that? Do you think that sort of just naturally led to it?
Yeah, I mean, my children went to the local school, St Bartholomew's, and I was on the Parent Teachers Association there. So I already had that sort of thing, and obviously they went on to other schools and that. But so community-wise, I did sort of have that thing in the background. So, yeah, I think it was just maybe a way to go, Unfortunately, my wife died and I was on my own, so it gave me an interest in something else to look at and keep me off the streets.
Absolutely. So your younger self would never have imagined it, but here we are.
Never in a million Sundays. Never.
That's amazing. Well, we can get into a bit about kind of your thoughts to do with like the council and young people and services, because a lot of our listeners will be like the students at Super Jam, so they'll be interested in that. And also we'll chat to you a bit about music in general, since we're at music college. You got a White Snake t-shirt on as well. Really love it. Love a bit of that. Before starting the podcast, we had a big chat about music and reception. Nice. So yeah, we can chat about that, which will be good. But one thing I was going to chat about, because you kind of helped David and Nick and the whole team with the process of getting our new Swanley base, and we're supportive of that. But what's your first impressions of the new base? You were here at the launch event as well.
My first impressions, after cutting the ribbon, walking through the doors and walking in and seeing the room as it's set out, absolutely mind-blowing. My eyes were everywhere looking at the equipment that was there, all the bits and pieces, album covers, and I'm going, "Oh, I've got that album at home." The Status Quo one and whatever. So I was just sort of like, wow, I wish I'd had something like this, because I learned to play when I was at school a cornet. Yeah, my parents paid for me to learn it. Wasn't that brilliant at it, but never had anything like that. I mean, it was just in a room, with a teacher going, "Oh, press this, press that, do this, do that." So yeah, I was just blown away with that. I thought, with the tour as well, I thought it was just, well, I wish I'd had it in my day.
Yeah, and I feel the same. I had like a normal high school and an all right music department, some great teachers, but it feels nice to be able to be part of something that offers it now. Aidan, I'm going to ask you the same question as well, like because obviously you've seen Swanley in its transition phase from its like porta cabins plus some rooms.
I remember the original building.
Exactly. So when you walked through the door for the first time here, what was your first impressions?
Oh, it was genuinely amazing to have a nice, like a big building to actually like be able to move around in, have more space for like pupils to experiment with their music, things like that. And I know I said it's like a nice big building. It is because in the porta cabins we had barely any room to do anything. We were just stuck in these little shipping containers with no space or nothing. I much prefer this building. It's much nicer. And there are some things to fix up here and there, but it's still fantastic to have as the new place.
Yeah. I'm really grateful for it and glad you guys get to experience that for sure. And yeah, it's something else. Every time I normally base in our Canterbury base, which is getting a little bit of an annex soon and getting some extra bits, which is awesome. But it's always nice seeing the new bases open. It's nice to see Super Jam grow as well. In a time when a lot of arts organisations and arts education providers are struggling or kind of, struggling to grow, it's nice to see Super Jam grow for sure. And Aidan, you were going to ask a bit about this one here. Yeah.
Another question is, why do you think somewhere like Super Jam is important for Swanley and like people in the surrounding areas?
I think Super Jam is important because it gives an opportunity to people who want to learn about the music industry. When I came in here, when it opened up, I thought it was just for people to come in and learn how to play an instrument, how to play a guitar, drums, whatever. And I was quickly told, oh no, we go through every aspect of it, from crowd control all the way into building stages and things like that, mixing and whatever. And I was pleasantly surprised at that because I thought at least, whichever way you're going to go in that music business, you will know the other bits as well, which I think is important to do that. And I think it's important for that opportunity for people within Swanley's surrounding areas to find somewhere to come and do all that. I can't think of anywhere else that's around here that the opportunity goes. I know my next door neighbour comes here as a student.
Oh, cool.
And I was talking to him yesterday. He gets on well here, and from what I can make out, and he enjoys it. So, yeah, great. And, so keep at it.
Yeah. And it is one thing that's, I think, a benefit to students. Like everyone's got music as interest, but some are more musicians, but some are more like, no, I want to do the tech. Some are like, and I want to do stage management, events management. Or manage a band, and there's all these different roles, and across the whole music industry, there's actually more roles and jobs available than maybe you almost see just the top of the pyramid when you see the artist, but there's this whole pyramid of like roles. So I think that's one thing that is what you said nice about Super Jam. You can get a chance to get involved, and even in stuff like this, Aidan helping with like the guest podcasts and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool. And speaking of music, I thought it might be a fun chance to ask you a bit about, and we could probably do a whole podcast on this, but some of your your own favorite music experiences, like you growing up, or even at any point in your life, favorite music experiences, like favorite albums or concerts you've been to, and things like that. We could have a little chat about that if you wanted. Maybe a good question is, where did it all start? Do you remember the record or?
Yeah. My mum and dad always had the radio on indoors, always, and it was they used to listen to the Light programme, as it was then, now Radio 2, and one record sticks in my mind that sort of got me going, if you like, in those days, and that was Helen Shapiro, Walking Back to Happiness, and I used to be able to sing that all the way through, come what may. My dad was in the RAF. So we moved around a lot, and we were in Hong Kong when the Beatles sort of hit the scene. And they came out to Hong Kong, and of course, the came off the aircraft. I mean, I didn't go to the airport, I was too young, but it was a real sort of, you know, who is this? This is whatever. The Rolling Stones didn't seem to figure out there much, but the Beatles did. So obviously that was the next thing. And then obviously I grew through the 70s. So we had all the glam rock and everything like that going on. And then it went into punk rock and so on and so on. And so, yeah, that's the way it sort of evolved for me. But I also did music at school.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it as one of my options. And there I learnt about the classical music as well, so like Beethoven, Bach and all that. So my own musical taste is very varied, but if I was going to come down into one genre that I really sort of enjoy, well, maybe there's two, but one is sort of, I remember buying a Black Sabbath album from the local record shop, and I bought the wrong album. I bought the second one instead of the first one. So I went back and bought the first one as well because I so enjoyed the second one. I thought, well, let's see what the first one's about. And now, like, you know, I've got an ottoman full of Black Sabbath and all sorts of things. Pink Floyd and Deep Purple and you name them.
We love Pink Floyd here.
Guns N' Roses and just go on from there. It's the old stuff.
Our base manager Dan is wearing a Pink Floyd top today.
I noticed it earlier.
Literally,
I was thinking,
woohoo!
But I mean, I suppose back in the 70s, I was a big fan of Mark Bolan.
Oh yeah, T-Rex. Oh, so cool.
And I started that off when he was Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Mm-hmm.
So that was before they shortened it to T-Rex. And I was supposed to go and see a concert of his up at Wembley. Never got there. At the time, I was in the RAF. Mm-hmm. I got a phone call and called me back and said, "You've got to come back to camp." I said, "But I'm going." "No, you come back straight away."
Oh, dear.
So that was the end of it. I never saw it. But there are parts of it on YouTube, which is great to see. So I know what I missed.
Cool. Yeah. Have you got any concert highlights that you saw and were like, that stands out?
Concert highlights. I think my first ever big concert that I saw with sort of mainstream artists was in Hyde Park. Mm-hmm. Many years ago, I used to live in Lancaster Gate, opposite Hyde Park. Yeah. And we heard there was going to be this free concert. So we thought, we'll go. So we all rolled out the pub with a few bottles and beers, made our way towards the front. And it started off with the Steve Hillage Band, and then went on to Supertramp, and then went on to Kiki D, who at that time had the song with Elton John, "Don't Go Breaking My Heart."
Yeah.
And we thought he was going to come on because she started singing it, but she went off stage and came back with a cardboard cutout of him.
That's quite funny. That's funny. Yeah.
And it ended up when all the lights went down with Queen.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And it was fantastic to watch. And they did Brighton Rock. Brian May did his guitar solo, and it just seemed to go on forever.
I bet.
I mean, I'd listened to it on the album, but to see it live and that. And I've been to see Queen a few times, not only with Freddie Mercury, but also with Paul Rodgers. Yeah. I won't say much about Adam Lambert. But yeah, and I've seen him up in Birmingham and down wherever. Yeah, that for me, that group was they just seemed to be able to put everything together and make it work.
Yeah.
That was great. Black Sabbath, I would have loved to have seen them. I did have tickets to go to a Black Sabbath concert at Colson Hall in Bristol. I was ready to go. I was at home because I used to live in Wiltshire, and up came on the news that it had been cancelled.
Oh, what a shame.
Ozzy Osbourne had a sore throat or something, I don't know. But so I never got to see them, and tried to get tickets for his final concert because my nephew lives in Solihull, so he goes to a lot of concerts. Couldn't get tickets, so I just paid to live stream it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then they sent me a T-shirt as well. So
Yeah. Well, some
There we
great
go. But-
moments.
yeah, there's been some really
moments.
good things, really good people to see. White Snake, Foreigner, Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah,
We were chatting about
Deep
community
Purple.
earlier as well, and I feel like going to concerts can give you that community, can't it? A sense
Yeah.
of feeling of belonging. And
Yeah.
anyone listening and who's not been told the concert yet, definitely encourage you. If you're a music fan, you've got to get that ticket and get out to your first concerts, even if it's a small local one. And if you to start with, if you're not a fan of huge crowds, it can be like such a cool experience.
Well, the thing I found was being on my own,
Mm-hmm.
going on my own was. I thought this is going to be difficult, but when you get there's so many people,
Yeah.
and they chat to you, and they talk to you, and they talk about this, that, and whatever else, and it's great.
Yeah, and I
Just
find
talk to people.
it's a good opening thing as well. Like, so if you're a bit like, some of our listeners might be nervous to chat to new people, but when you're at a concert, you've got at least one thing in common,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I guess maybe football fans get that as well. Like, you got at least one thing in common, the team or whatever. So it's a sort of, maybe that would be my analogy there as well. So yeah, I can definitely encourage our listeners to do that. And it was fun going right back to like your young days, finding out about all that and getting the story.
Yeah,
And then,
my first album though was Billy J. Kramer.
okay.
That was the first record I ever bought. It wasn't a single; it was an album.
Yeah, I had my first album was Jamiroquai Synchronized, which I quite liked. That was cool. But my first single was Rob Williams' "Let Me Entertain You," and I got Run DMC vs Jason Evans the same day, both cassette singles. Yes, I am that old. But I did also have the Smurfs soundtrack on CD. But my mum bought me that, so I did like it, but it wasn't the first one I bought. But I did have it.
Yeah. Smurfs. Yeah,
That's
there was,
amazing.
so many. I don't know. There's just been so many things. I mean, the other genre that I do love is reggae. I've been out to Jamaica quite a few times. I've been to Bob Marley's house.
Oh,
and,
wow, that's cool.
where he was born and all that, and places he used to go. And it's brilliant. I love it.
Amazing. Well, fun to talk about the kind of your own youthful story and kind of your young times. It's a good lead into the next question that Aidan was going to ask about maybe young people in the area. Yeah.
So this question is, what do you believe is the biggest challenge like young people and their carers have to face like at the moment?
I suppose the biggest thing would be cost of living, and I think that's for everybody really. Unfortunately, we have the conflicts out in the Middle East, which has made prices go up, whether it's for travel or just general everyday food and things like that. I think we're all feeling that pinch. And I think for younger people, they've got to sit there, they've got to look at the future, and they've got to think to themselves, where am I going to take this? I mean, I've got 2 children. My daughter's be 30 in a couple of weeks' time, and my son, he's married, got his own house and whatever, and I've got a grandson. And I do think, what future has my grandson got? Where is this world going? And I think the opportunities have got to be there for younger people to go and learn about it. I think years and years ago when I was younger, you learnt, the value of money, that you needed to save up and you need to do this and the cost of living, and if you can't afford it, don't buy it, otherwise you're going to be in massive debt. And that's happened. And I think that it's the kids of today, younger generation, have got to learn that. There's so much technology and the world is at their fingertips with phones and computers. They can look anything up that if they want to know, But I think they've got to come back down to the little bit of basics and say, right, well, okay, let's take this world on head on and let's do what we got to do.
So you think like better financial planning, education for young people would be a good thing?
Yeah, education, all those sort of things have got to be there. And it's got to be the basics. I think it's the basics first of all, and then build on that. And when they've got their basics, they can then decide which way they want to go with it. If they're interested in the financing stuff, then they could go that way.
Yeah.
If they're interested in, I don't know, environmental things, and they can sort of go into that sort of, or tech and AI, just go that way.
And by basics, do you mean like general life skills, like how to wire a plug, the classic things like that, like, basic DIY, garden, is that the kind of stuff you mean? Cookery, that kind of thing?
Wire a plug. I remember my son, when he was very young, and he had a TV, and I can't remember what he'd done now, but he'd done something, and I said to him, I'm going to take your TV away. So he grabbed it, the portable TV. Hey, you're not having my TV, and the lead was hanging down. So I just cut the plug off, and he just looked devastated because everything comes with a plug on it these days.
Yeah.
And and he said, "You've broken it. You can't sort of fix that." Because I knew how to put a plug on. And since then, I mean, my daughter, she had a brake light go on her car. I said, "Put a new one in." Well, how do I do that? And I taught her how to do it. And she's learnt how to do things in cars now.
Yeah. And it's good that, and you need someone like that to show you the basics. It needs passed down, doesn't it? So maybe programs in schools or what would you call it? Maybe after school programs or stuff like that could be good.
I mean, years ago there used to be things like evening classes for simple things like repairing watches. And doing things like that. They just don't seem to exist anymore. And I think they need to be brought back so that people can go, even if you've left school. And colleges as well. My son, I mean, I remember when my son was at school, he wasn't the brightest bulb in the box, but he had the opportunity that he could do, 3 days at school and 2 days somewhere else.
Okay.
And he wanted to get into motor racing.
Oh, cool.
And there was a garage down in Ruxley.
Yeah.
And I took him down there. We went into this garage because they said, we can take somebody on.
Oh, that's cool.
We walked into this garage and there's Ferraris and Porsches and Lamborghinis. And I'm going, wow. And his face just lit up.
Oh, that's cool.
And he went with them for a while. And one of them is now in Swanley. So,
great.
Which is good. But then he decided and said, Mum, I want to go and be a plumber. So
That's a good job though. That's a good trade to learn.
So we sort of said, well, okay, if you're sure that's what you want to do, and we sent him down to Medway to the college down there to learn it all and everything. So he's learnt it all. He's out there now, working for a firm. He does air conditioning now. He's doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things that they're teaching him, and
that's good. And it is good to, I think, show that for our listeners that academics not the only pathway. Practical things are there as well. And I was actually going to ask Aidan as well, because you got a good perspective on this, being a young person, and also all your friends and that. What do you think? What some of the biggest challenges are for young people or their parents and guardians kind of in the area at the moment?
I feel like it is the same thing where people like my age aren't very careful with their money. Not saying everyone isn't, but a lot of people I know, they seem to spend a lot of money on useless things which they could just buy later, but they could also save their money for a later day. And only funny, I don't get why they do that. I fully don't understand it. I find it difficult to spend money, like myself, a lot of the time. And it's also the fact that a lot of trades are dying because people aren't learning them. Yes. Like, you're not getting people becoming a mechanic recently. A lot of young people don't seem to want to be involved with that, which, not a bad thing, but it's also not a good thing that we're going to run out of people to do that trade. And if that trade goes, you're kind of at a dead end, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think, as you said, there should be more things where, like, you can do 3 days of, like, a college course or something, and then, like, an employment, like, just a job that you're doing, like, on those extra days, making sure that you're getting more education which isn't mainly education-based, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's practical, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the practical things.
Like, practical skills aren't, like, people aren't learning them as much, but I feel like it's a very important thing to have to learn while you're young, so you can, like, teach people when you're older.
That's right, you need to pass it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know it might not be under the exact council's remit, but I was wondering if you know of or involved with any kinds of projects that help young people in the area at the moment that you might want to shout out or chat about a little bit.
Personally, not really at the moment. The only way that for younger people that we're trying to do at the bowls club, because bowls is seen as an old man's game.
Yeah.
But it's not. The average bowler is, I think, about 26 or something like that.
Cool.
You know, and they play for England and things like that. So, and if you go out to Australia, they're all youngsters.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you watch them. And I mean, I've been out there, and they like, you know, these music going.
Yeah.
And here it's like, no, can't do that. But so that we're trying to get more and more younger people into the game. We've had a little bit of success here in Swanley. We've got 2 or 3 people in their 20s.
Cool.
And they're very good. They picked it up well. And, you know, that's great.
Yeah.
And hopefully they will continue that on. You know, and so that's sort of more where it goes to. And when I was the mayor, I went to the Scout Jamboree down at Detling. And the person who's in charge, her name's Francis, around the Swanley area, etc., we were talking about getting the Scouts down to, you know, learn. And we've had a few that have come along. So that's another aspect of looking at things and saying, right, we want to get these younger people shown what it's about, that there is a skill that they need to learn, and it's good hand-eye coordination. But and it's not an old man's game, you know. I think the reason it's seen as an old man's game is because a lot of people, when they retire, they've got time on their hands; they can go and do it. Whereas if you're working, I started when I was working, but you can only sort of
got to make
do
the
weekends.
time.
You know, you can't do during the week because you're working. So that's you know, and then your weekends get tied up with various other things as well.
I think for the community aspect of it too, the mixing of younger people and old people is a really healthy thing for our community too. So that's a lovely kind of outcome from it as well.
And the younger people help out the older people because they'll say, oh, if we're playing a game somewhere else, oh, come on, I'll give you a lift. You know? Because the older people don't always want to drive, depending how far away it is, depending what the weather's like sometimes. You know, and the younger person go, well, I'll drive, it's fine. Throw you.
It's interesting what you said about Australia as well. And it made me think of my experience in France, a different game, but similar, pétanque. Or boules, that's played widely across all ages as well in different city parks and stuff I've seen too as well. So
they've got a pétanque team down in Crocken Hill.
Oh, cool.
Really?
That's cool.
Yeah, it's back of the Checkers pub.
Cool.
And that gets really busy on a...
I go past the Checkers a lot. Damn, I didn't know that.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's
New
right,
hobby.
Well, I mean, I live down the road. I should know
We
this.
know
That'd be great,
where the car park is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's behind the car park.
That's cool.
Really?
Yeah. There you go.
I had no idea.
Very cool.
So now you know, and they do quite well. And there are younger people in that as well. Yeah. They fill the car park up.
Cool. Well, one fun thing might be, because these are all cool projects and ideas, is so we kind of hypothetical question about if the council had like the dream budget. I've got a hypothetical one, and Aidan's got one after me. But if you had the dream budget and could do pretty much anything you want to help young people in the area, creative arts in the area, and I guess I do keep bringing up young people. I guess it's because since we're at a college for young people. But yeah, if you had the dream budget and you were focusing on that area, what would you like to do?
If we had a dream budget, I think we would want to build something where you could hold shows, whether they be ballet or a pop concert or whatever. So that opportunity is there for people, to maybe amateur dramatic groups, things like that, or even, you know, established artists could go to and do their thing. How much it would cost, who knows? Yeah, but that's if you had the dream budget, you could put everything you wanted in there, and you could use local people for employment, for whatever. So that would be, I suppose, the big thing.
Yeah, imagine that, like a hub that is like you know, for performance, education as well. Yeah, that's a cool idea. I love that. What do you think of that, Aidan?
I would actually, yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
It'd be good to have a location like that for more people to get involved with as well. Because as you said, the people in the Swanley area, if they needed to find a job, they could always, if that was a thing, they could work there, which could mean they're not far away from home and they still got a good job to run as well.
Yeah, I mean, it would support the local community and also, you know, people around. And I think, as you say, you know, they're close to home, so things like cost of travelling and all that, you know, a lot of them get on a bike or something probably. But
the cool thing is, it's not
things.
Oh, I was going to say, oh yeah, on you go. I don't know.
The council has entered. I don't know whether it's such a competition or whatever, but it's against other councils. If we win, we get £3 million.
Ooh, well, that is
a good number.
A bit of a dream budget.
And it has already been said to me the other night that if we do that, that is one of the things they're thinking of doing in the park. Is putting something like that in. It wouldn't be massive. It wouldn't be the O2, but it could be.
Well, you know what's amazing is there's already good examples of that working. For example, Waterbear is a college university in Brighton that some of our students have progressed to, similar to Superjam, but at degree level. And they now have 2 of their own music venues in Brighton. Right. And the students get to work there, but they employ people as well. They get to have bands there. The public can go there and watch stuff. So it is possible. Like, it is really possible.
I mean, you know, fingers crossed we win it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, if we
that'd be amazing. Yeah. Well,
is,
you know, come to Superjam. Maybe we can help.
That is one of the things that's on the table to do.
Wow. So well, I really hope that goes through.
Yeah, that is amazing. That is like, quite amazing.
Yeah.
Of an idea. And also, that's a good amount.
I can't. I mean, you know, it's a dream amount.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a cool bit of insight for this question. Thanks so much, Keith. Amazing. This is brilliant. That's the clip. We'll clip that and put it on the Instagram. No, but that's really good. I'm just joking, but that's really brilliant. And we do have another hypothetical question that Aidan came up with. So
so it was, if you had to cut one of the services so you could help provide for people like in education or just kind of around Swanley, what one would you cut? And like, if you were able to give us a reason for it.
Well, who would you want to upset, really?
Yeah, it's a tough question, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very hard to say which one you would cut. You know, most of the services, I mean, you couldn't cut health.
No.
Or, you know, anything to do with education. I mean, even like down to sort of environmental stuff and all that. That's a really hard question to answer, to be honest with you.
You can always just mooch money from each one, though.
Yeah, I mean,
or just take a bit of a budget from each one.
Yeah, I think that would be the idea, is little pots from each one, and maybe get those things just to do a little bit more themselves. It's hard. I mean, years ago, I remember Lewisham Council, and I'll never forget this, they had something wrong in one of their toilets.
Okay.
And they were going to be charged something like about £90 or something to put it right.
Yeah.
And I'm going back a long, long time. One of the councillors, or it might have been the mayor at the time, or whoever it was, said, "Don't be stupid." Went out, bought the part for 50p and did it himself.
Yeah.
So saved a load of money. And it was said, well, why can't you do that? And sometimes I do look at things and I think, why can't you just go and do that? Because it's so simple and so cheap. And I've seen people turn around and say, oh, no, we've got somebody coming in for that. And you say, well, how much are you charging, you know? Oh, well, they're charging X. And you say, well, 5-minute fix.
Yeah. Yeah. And
oh, no, leave it to someone else. But why?
Yeah.
That money could be used somewhere else. It's like things like, I was often asked as the mayor, where's your mayoral car? Don't have one. Why don't you have a mayoral car? Other mayors have got them.
Yeah.
And I said, with a car, it needs to be maintained, taxed, insured, you need to pay a chauffeur.
Yeah.
That money can be spent somewhere else. So that's why we don't have a car.
Love that. Yeah, that's really cool. I love that. And I got one question I was going to ask on this topic as well, because I'm not sure how it works, but I guess at the start of a term or when you guys, your team are all doing budgeting and stuff, is that like a sort of team thing that people vote on, or do we all get in a room and discuss it, or how does that go about?
It happens at the council meeting.
Yeah.
We all sit around, and within Swanley there's 16 councillors, so we make the decision and we set the budget. We get recommendations that this is what we need to spend. The responsible financial officer, he knows how much things like rents are going to cost, electric and whatever else, and look at what loans we've had for this and for that, and what's coming in, what's going out. So they have an idea, and we then set the budget. And some of the things that are discussed are things like we give out grants. And we say, well, we have a budget of X amount, so much may go to a play group for equipment, something might go to somewhere else for, need this or need that or whatever else. And they ask, and we put the budget up last year, so we doubled it. So because times are getting on, things are costing more, so that's what we've done. But we also have that little bit of reserve that if we need to take something out of that reserve to put into somewhere, we will do it. And we did that the other night. But that's what we do. We set the budget to look at it and say, right, this is what we got. And then we look at how we can get money in. Obviously, we've got to make the money to get
I think it's worth mentioning then as well, because a lot of our students we go 16 to 25, so a lot of them will be voting age. So after hearing that, if you want to know where your council taxes are going, you get out and vote for the councillor you want, right? Because I haven't looked at the most recent turnouts for council elections, but it's really important, is the point I'm trying to make, to remember, check it out, get engaged, go out and kind of use your vote as well, because it'll be the people who are in the room kind of helping decide these things.
That's important. Lots of people don't bother with local elections, but they are important because they are a local thing. And the town councillors are working for the town. Yeah. They're not working for the government. Yeah. They're not working for the country. We were working for Swanley Town.
Yeah. So in a way, you might see more results from that in a weird way than your national vote.
I mean, Swanley is fortunate enough that we do well. We make money. Our events that we do are well supported. The venues that we have, like the Alexandra Suite, the Olympic, etc., they've always got something going on, whether it be a wedding, it could be, it's all sorts of things.
Even at Super Jam gigs at the Alexandra Suite,
and obviously you've come along and supported the mayor at points, different things and whatever. Are you going to be at the Armed Forces Day?
Maybe. I honestly never. My problem is, I never know what's going on. It's always either like a day before or on the day I know what's happening, so I always forget. It's probably quite bad.
Day by day.
Yeah.
So where was I now? Talking about the different things. So there's different businesses and they rent properties from us to run things. I mean, even the Bowls Club pays out. Yeah. We pay rent and things like that. So we know where the money's coming in. But and we tend to use it as we can, and we do our best with what we've got. We have a thing called the shed now, which is they take things and they fix them, or they make something out of recycled stuff and whatever. I think they've just recently had somebody's donated some bicycles.
Also, when volunteers go in and they have this community. I've seen things like that where people can go and learn skills and hang out, like a workshop kind of thing. That's cool.
Swanley Park is a big attraction because you've got the little railway down there, and lots of people, and there's splash balls and the lake and the pedalos and all that sort of thing. Yeah. And one of the events I held was other mayors coming to see our park. Yeah. And they went out on the pedalos and they went on the train, whatever. So, and we got 1812 night. Do you get involved in that?
I can't remember if we did. I'm normally based in East Kent near Margate's where I stay, so I don't get all the Swanley events. But yeah,
our 1812 night in August is a big thing.
Cool.
I think last year we had about 5,000 people there, and we have the Ainsford band, brass bands. They come up here and they do music, and obviously the 1812 overture and the fireworks are going off and everything like that. It's a really good night, and a lot of people turn up, and it's free.
Yeah, that's important as well.
It's free.
And it does bring me on to my next question, because we were chatting about budgets and things a little bit and finances. And one statistic that came out quite recently was only 16% of the creative industries is made up of people from like a working class background, or just, if you don't love that term, or, less wealthy background. So, some young people are sort of being pushed out of the arts a little bit. And I was wondering, do you have any ideas on how we can maybe help young people who maybe aren't from as wealthy a background into the creative industries? If that's their dream, they're serious about it, they've got what it takes. Any ideas how we could maybe help them more?
I think it's important to notice or pick up on somebody's talent, no matter whether they come from, as you say, a working class background or whether they come from a upper class background. I don't think it matters. If you at the very beginning pick up on someone's talent and then you nurture it, and I think that's the way to do it, is not just dismiss it and say no. Take them and recognize. People need to recognize that, and if they think someone's got that, then there should be somewhere that they could take that person to and say, right, I think this person has the ability to do whatever they're going to do in the arts, whether it's dancing, whether it's music, whether it's whatever it is, and say, right, can you take them maybe for a trial period and see how they get on? Now, if they get on and they pick it up really quickly, then you can think, hang on a minute, I've got someone here who can go that route. If they're not going to do it, then you have to be honest and say, sorry, I don't think it's for you. You need to find something else. But I think that initial spark of, hey, and stop the, I don't know whether it's still prevalent these days, where you used to have the mums pushing the kids to go and do it, I mean, we've all watched Britain's Got Talent. That little girl crying,
Like
some people call that a passion pusher a little bit. Like they're,
I can't stand shows like that. They're all. The problem with shows like that is it's the fact that if you watch them, say like The Voice or things like that, most of the time a singer can be fantastic, but it depends on what they say in their interview. Apparently, like most of the time, like if you look at. One of our members of staff here was on The Voice a while ago, and he's an amazing singer, but like no one turned around, and someone made a YouTube video talking about his performance, and then underneath they went, he just wasn't not expressive enough. When you have to like be extra to get attention, they just went, he wasn't extra enough, so that's why he failed.
Yeah, because it's more about making good TV than making good music.
I think there's a lot of talent out there that is not tapped into or doesn't get anywhere. I mean, as I said to you earlier, David, about the guys I saw out when I was on holiday, that band. I mean, they were really good. Yeah, and I thought, and I spoke to them afterwards, and they said to me, "Yeah, we just go around the hotels, and stand by the pool. We're here every Tuesday, And I thought, it's a bit of a waste, really. But I think because they're on such a small island, they've got nowhere else to go. Yeah. There's nobody there saying, right, we'll manage you and we can push you here, push you there, or anything else. And we see that so often. But then there's other people who, what's her name? Florence, who was here.
Yeah.
Who opened up.
Florence Somerville, that was amazing.
Florence Somerville, well, I mean, I hadn't heard of her, but she did a great thing there, and I've actually downloaded some of her stuff onto my iPhone. But before I finished being mayor, I went to France, to a place called Verrières-le-Buisson, which is the twin town of Swanley.
Cool.
To meet the mayor there. And one evening I was out with the deputy mayor, and she was asking me what I was doing, what I've recently done. And I mentioned Super Jam and, I cut the ribbon and whatever else. And I said, there's Florence Somerville. And she went, Florence Somerville? I went, yeah. Oh, I love her. And I thought, this is down in Paris.
That's cool.
Southeast of Paris.
Wow.
Brilliant.
That's cool. Her name's got that far.
Absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant.
Florence is a gem. She's been kind enough to visit our Canterbury base as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just great to have her
But it
involved.
was just so nice to hear that outside of England, that somebody's heard of her.
It's so good. Yeah.
And says,
All
I
her
love
hard
her,
work's paying off because
Yeah,
she's
that's
really
great.
put a lot into it. And also, I loved what you said about nurturing sort of talent like that. Obviously, Florence has probably had that a little, but she's even mentioned it in some of the interviews she's done. Her parents were very supportive and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's sort of that thing of a mixture of, like you said, spotting that talent, but also like one thing we try and do at Superjudge is like really listen to the young people as well. So like really, I guess that's part of spotting it, isn't it? You really listen to young people. It's such an important thing as well. So I think 100% I agree with that for sure. It's a good thing, and it's it's hopefully something we can keep on developing as we're here as well.
I think they just need somewhere to be able to push to for a little while and say, right, see what they can do. Are they going to be any good? I always wanted to be a rock star, but I drove my parents mad playing green sleeves on a guitar.
Amazing. Well, I think so. Speaking of young people in their careers, a lot of young people might need a little bit of help with maybe being a sort of freelancer or a solo entrepreneur. And it was something you were going to ask about, Aidan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's So, do you have any idea? So, apparently, 29% of like roles in like the creative industry are freelance. So, a lot of people are independent, doing things by themselves without any support. Do you have any idea how you could help young people go into being a solo entrepreneur, like become less reliant on as many other people and more reliant on themselves for their own gain?
Yeah, and a bit about how they could learn those skills. Because I guess like a lot of tradespeople might be self-employed like that. We talked about plumbers earlier. A lot of plumbers
are
So, but in the creative industries, it's not talked about as much. But it is quite often you end up being self-employed, or we might call it a freelancer. And so I think just any thoughts on that and what we could do to help young people.
I think becoming self-employed or going it alone, if you like. I mean, I can relate back to that. Many years, for 25 odd years, I was a driving instructor.
Yeah.
And I worked for a large company, British School of Motoring. But I left them, had my own car, and set up on my own.
Ah, cool.
Now, that was quite daunting, really, to do that. And I thought, well, I can make this. This is not a problem. This is easy, but it's not easy. It's not as easy as it sounds, You might walk out, and I walked out with an initial number of pupils, but they all disappear. And I remember a bank manager saying to me once, yours is a business where you want to get rid of people. I thought, yeah, he's right, really.
You want them to pass.
I want them to pass, to go. But then it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
But then I had to be, it was a case of going round to other people, to other friends, and saying, well, look, how do I do this? How do I do that? And it's getting that knowledge to how to do it. And in the end, I managed to do it. And somebody mentioned something to me and said, oh, you could do this. And I thought, well, I don't know. But I put the time and the effort in to go and do it. I won't say what it is, but, and it worked.
Okay.
And it worked. And I was getting people coming through the door all the time. I mean, British School of Motoring, big people at that in those days, not now. Most people who want to learn to drive just go there. They don't want the independent. But then after a little while, they sort of think, and it was word of mouth and this other thing I did and whatever else. But it was a total change, because it wasn't just, whereas I was BSM, I go and get in a car, get a pupil, go teach them to drive, boom, that's it, go. Whereas with my own business, I had to maintain that car. I had to have a phone installed, because not many people had phones them days, and there were no mobile phones. So the phone was constantly ringing. It was ringing at 11 o'clock at night. People asking about how much does it cost. So I had to have this business sense of trying to do all this. There was nothing really that had set me up for that. And I wish there had been. I wish there had been some way, whether, again, back to evening classes or something, where you could go and learn that and learn how to run that business, you know?
Do you think that's something like the Citizens Advice Bureau or some social projects might be able to help with?
I don't think the Citizens Advice Bureau, because that's more advice on problems and things like that. But I think something could be set up somewhere by maybe local entrepreneurs or people like that. You know, we won't get Alan Sugar, but
yeah, but you just need someone who's a few steps ahead of you. Yeah, you never know though. Guest talk.
Well, I mean, someone like that who can just put that knowledge over.
That'd be cool.
And just help someone. And you know, sometimes they can talk a lot, but then there'll be one thing, and that just clicks to a person, and they think, that's an idea. Let's take it away and do it.
Yeah, maybe something even at Super Jam we could start like an entrepreneurs club or something like that. And ideas for entrepreneurship in the creative industries.
Do you do anything like that?
I think in some of the modules they've got in the RSL class, there's a bit about self-employment, a little bit of stuff like that.
Yeah, because
it's something we could explore further. Yeah,
and all those things as well. And
marketing's a big one, isn't it?
Marketing. Yeah.
I think marketing these days, especially, is such a big one because that's like you said, the big question: where's my next customer coming from? Well, and marketing, whether it's word of mouth or online or in newspapers or whatever, like that's quite often how you'll reach new people and new customers, isn't it?
Yeah, so, I mean, you'd have to try and, because in the driving school industry, you have periods where nobody wants driving lessons, like Christmas.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It comes Christmas. Sorry, Christmas is coming, New Year's coming. Oh, I'm broke now until the end of January. And then it snows. Here we go again. Summer's another one. They're all going on summer holidays, school term, 6 weeks or whatever it is. Bang, nobody wants to go and learn to drive because they're looking after their kids and things like that. So, there's all those sort of things. But, you just got to find someone to impart that knowledge, I think. Yeah. It's going back to that, saying, right, let's get those people out there, get them to give their knowledge for free. Yeah. Not keep giving money to these people. Just have it for free. And give it to the people, the youngsters who are coming. They're going to be the next generation. They're going to be running the world, some of them.
Yeah, and having but having great, if you think of the local community, if young people stay in or able to set up their own businesses, that's going to enrich the local economy and community as well. So, not that every young person is going to become an entrepreneur or self-employed, but they will make an impact. The ones that do, just as much as other ones who go to work in a company. But I think local economies do need that. New businesses, small businesses, it's really important for a community.
I know when I was coming back home on a plane, a person who was sitting next to me, a young girl, her and her husband started up a company. And what it's to do with is instead of you phoning and hiring a skip from a local skip company, they are a sort of contact. You contact them, and then they go and get the skips for you and control it all. So you don't need to do anything but make one phone call. Yeah, and they've made a fair bit of money.
That's smart.
Which is really clever. Sort of
it's almost like Uber, but for skips. Pretty much. Yeah. But valid. Yeah,
they found that little sort of gap.
That's cool.
Niche. And I had somebody else, and she was quite interesting. She had when she was 16, she left school, and she said she always wanted to be a police officer. Fine, but she couldn't do it until she was 18. So her mum said to her, "You either go out, go to college, and get a bit of an education, or you go and get a job, pay me rent." Yep. So she spoke to some of the officers, and they said, "Oh, go and get a job," So she went out and got a job. and went to Coutts Bank. Yeah. And she stayed there 7 years, she said, but she always wanted to be a police officer.
Yeah.
So she got into it, changed her career. But one night down at Hanger Lane, they were answering a call, an assistance call, doing 90 miles an hour in a metro through a red light, and an Arctic lorry was coming the other way.
Oh, no.
They took it 2 hours to cut her out of the car or whatever.
Dear.
She was pensioned off, but now she works with a lot of bands up in Manchester. She's moved up to Manchester, and her husband do a lot of stuff with different music bands and whatever, and for a charity which is the knife crime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and she said she's been, over to the States and whatever
Cool.
else. Well, that's good for you. And she said the thing is, because it's knife crime, they throw money at them.
Ah. Yeah, and it's
Get the
great to
money,
use
yeah.
music for like a positive message,
she said it's
anti-knife
really
crime.
good
Yeah,
because
yeah. I love
she said music just brings everybody together.
any
which I
music
think it
benefit
does.
thing is just amazing. Like, there's
Yeah.
been great examples of it through history as well, like Rock Against Racism, stuff like that. Cool. Well, we're almost at time a
Right.
little bit.
Okay.
I thought it'd be one last
Go
question
on.
that we ask all our guests as well. The classic question.
This question drives me insane, though. It's not because it's a bad question. It's because he has to ask you the question, and then I can complain about it. It's
You can
easier.
complain about it. Yeah.
No.
I'm interested in the feedback.
So, okay, I'll tell you what the question is, and then I'll explain why I despise it so much.
That's fair.
It's if you had the car from the Back to the Future, the film,
Or any time machine.
or any time
Yeah,
machine,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
could go back in time to meet your younger self, what would you tell your younger self?
Or
Like
chat
what to do,
about,
things
yeah.
like that. That question drives me insane because technically, you talk to your younger self, all of time and space would cave in. Because you are breaking the space-time continuum, which means it's broken. So you can't do this. But
As a sci-fi fan, I totally get that. I'll fist pump that. Yeah, that's fair. Well, thank goodness it's a hypothetical question then. So, okay, well, let's add brackets to the question, and we have reassurance that this time-space continuum would be okay.
that works better for me.
Right.
Sorry about that.
So yeah, what kind of things would you chat to, especially if you were maybe like Super Jam age, 16 to 25 years old, round about that age? What would you want to chat to? It doesn't even have to be advice. What would you want to talk about?
I just sort of, I would maybe just tell my younger self, well, look, this is where I'm going to go to. This is where I am now.
Yeah.
And just follow the path, the true path you want to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's the path you want to go for it.
Cool.
Don't keep, follow that like a motorway, go down those lanes.
Yeah.
Don't come off at the next junctions because, that next junction will probably take you to where you don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So just keep on straight and narrow, I suppose, and just follow your dream. If you've got a dream and you've got the talent and you've got the ability, then go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just don't let anything stop you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's
great
things
advice.
to overcome.
Yeah.
There always will be.
And there'll always be people in the
Yeah,
distance
yeah,
saying,
people
"Oh,
giving
don't
you
do
so
that."
much,
Yeah. So,
If
yeah.
you've got that dream and you've got the ability to do it, go and do it.
Yeah. Great.
That's a really good bit of advice.
Yeah,
That's
well,
that's really good.
Love it. That's why we asked the question.
Here's my answer question. I'm sorry about that. But
No, it's funny. I get
funny.
it. As a sci-fi fan too, I totally get that.
I do say to myself,
Yeah.
if I've never done it, go and have a go.
Yeah.
Because I don't know whether I like it or whether I don't. Or whether I'm only good at it. If I'm good at it, brilliant. If
Yeah.
I'm not, okay. Fine, I'll
And
go
yeah,
find someone else.
exactly. Yeah. 100%. Well, Keith, thank you so much for
That's
coming on the
all right, you're
podcast
welcome.
today. We super appreciate it. And thank you so much for
Yes, thank you,
hosting it
Aidan.
with me as well. It's been great
It
having
was
you on
wonderful
board.
chatting with both of you, actually.
Yeah, well, we will catch you later on the next episode. Thanks for listening to this one, everyone. I hope you loved listening to it as much as we enjoyed making it, and we will catch you later. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.